Imagine the year is 2026. Formula One is entering a brand new era. Fresh power units, sweeping regulation changes, and new faces fighting to reshape the grid. Most seats are locked in, but one name continues to dominate the rumor mill: Lance Stroll. His seat at Aston Martin, once untouchable thanks to his father Lance Stroll's ownership, now hangs by a thread. For years, Lance dreamed of building a champion, pouring billions into the Silverstone headquarters, hiring top-tier staff, and chasing glory. But despite every advantage, Lance has failed to show the passion or consistency needed to reach the top. His interviews reveal disinterest, his on-track fire is fading, and whispers grow louder. Could Lance actually be preparing to walk away from Formula One? If that happens, Aston Martin faces a seismic shift. A family project would need to evolve into a real championship team. And the name everyone is watching as a possible replacement is Yuki Tsunoda, backed by Honda and hungry for a fresh start. So, what's really going on? Is Lance ready to step aside? And could Yuki be the shock new face of Aston Martin? This is F1 Media, and today we're breaking it all down. On paper, the 2026 grid is almost complete. Yet Lance's future remains a mystery. Despite his privileged entry and years of opportunity, Lance has never shaken the label of a pay driver. Yes, he has achieved podiums, but he's never come close to proving he could fight for titles. And that is where the problem lies. Lance Stroll has always insisted that as long as he owns Aston Martin, his son will have a seat. But the reality of Formula One is harsh. Investors, sponsors, and partners don't care about family loyalty. They care about performance, exposure, and results. And so far, Lance Stroll has failed to deliver those. His apparent lack of motivation has only fueled the narrative. If he steps away voluntarily, it would not only confirm suspicions, but also leave Lance in a difficult position, forcing him to replace his own son. That's where Yuki Tsunoda enters the conversation. Brought into Formula One through Honda's junior program, Yuki arrived with explosive speed and a fiery personality. Fans loved his unfiltered radio outbursts, his raw honesty, and his flashes of brilliance on track. But at Red Bull and its junior setup, life has been unforgiving. Yuki now finds himself struggling at the back of the pack, last among full-time drivers in the standings, even though his teammate, a four-time world champion, sits comfortably in third place. The car, the RB21, has been brutal. Built around Max Verstappen's style, it has exposed weaknesses in nearly every driver who attempts to master it. While Max Verstappen makes the unpredictable machine dance, Yuki has been left behind, losing confidence with each race. Many believe that the toxic environment inside Red Bull has stunted his growth. Still, there's a sense that with a fresh start, away from the constant comparisons to Verstappen, Yuki could reignite his career. And Honda may be the key to making that happen. From 2026, Honda returns as the official engine partner of Aston Martin. That alone changes the power dynamic. Honda is not content with being a silent supplier. They want influence, they want representation, and they want to ensure their brand is tied to a driver who embodies their values. Koji Watanabe, Honda's president, has made it clear that the company will have a say in Aston Martin's driver lineup, just as they did during their time with Red Bull. And who better to carry Honda's flag than Yuki Tsunoda, the driver they personally nurtured into Formula One? For Aston Martin, this could be a golden opportunity. A Japanese driver in a Honda-powered car would be a marketing dream, opening doors to massive fan bases and commercial deals in Asia. More importantly, it would show that Aston Martin is willing to prioritize performance and global impact over family ties. Of course, there's a complication. Yuki Tsunoda is still tied to Red Bull, and for all his struggles, they haven't given up on him entirely. Laurent Mekies, head of Red Bull's junior program, has stressed that Yuki deserves more time. He pointed to instances like Monza, where Yuki was only 0.2 off Max Verstappen in qualifying, as proof of his raw pace. But Red Bull has always been ruthless with its drivers. Behind Yuki waits a new generation ready to seize their chance. Isaac Hajar is one of the brightest prospects, already scoring podiums and proving his consistency. Even Liam Lawson, often criticized for his blunt attitude, has spoken up in support of Hajar, declaring that he's ready for the step up. And then there's Arvid Lindblad, whose F2 campaign has faltered, buying Yuki a little more time. But his eventual rise is inevitable, and when it comes, there will be even less room for error. If Yuki cannot deliver now, Red Bull will replace him without hesitation, which means if Aston Martin doesn't offer him a seat, Yuki Tsunoda could be left with no full-time role at all, forced to wait on the sidelines for a rookie to fail. This brings us back to Aston Martin and the heart of the matter. Will Lance Stroll finally let go of his son's seat? For years, the project has revolved around Lance Stroll. The facilities at Silverstone, the investments in top talent, and the partnership with Honda were all supposed to propel him to championship contention. But the reality is stark. Lance has not shown the hunger, the consistency, or the speed to justify being the centerpiece of a Formula One team. Investors know it, sponsors know it, and deep down, perhaps even Lance Stroll knows it. But admitting it means dismantling the dream he's been building for nearly a decade. If Lawrence chooses loyalty over progress, Aston Martin risks stalling just as the sport enters its most competitive era. But if he makes the hard choice, replacing Lance with a driver like Yuki, it could mark the beginning of a new chapter, one where ambition finally outweighs sentiment. At first glance, taking on Yuki Tsunoda looks risky. He has been inconsistent, prone to emotional outbursts, and has yet to prove himself as a team leader. But dig deeper, and the potential becomes clear. He's young, marketable, and represents a massive audience in Japan. He's been tested in one of the harshest environments in motorsport, the Red Bull system. And while he's struggled, he's also gained valuable experience. Most importantly, he carries Honda's backing, a relationship that could be vital for Aston Martin's success in the coming years. Imagine the transformation, from a fading Red Bull Jr. to the face of Honda's return to the top, from struggling at the back to leading Aston Martin into a new era. It's a redemption story that Formula One thrives on. All of this plays out against the backdrop of the 2026 regulation changes. The new power unit rules, the emphasis on sustainability, and fresh aerodynamic regulations will reset the grid. Teams will have the chance to break free from the established order, to rise or to fall depending on how well they adapt. For Aston Martin, this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity. With Honda engines, cutting-edge facilities, and the right drivers, they could finally escape the midfield and challenge the giants: Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. But everything hinges on choices made now. Stick with Lance Stroll, and the team risks being dragged down by loyalty. Take a bold step with Yuki Tsunoda, and they might just spark the revolution they've been chasing. Picture this scenario. Lance Stroll quietly steps away from Formula One, avoiding the endless criticism that has followed him for years. Yuki Tsunoda joins Aston Martin, backed by Honda, ready for a clean slate and a chance to prove his doubters wrong. The team embraces a new identity, no longer a family vanity project, but a serious competitor aiming for championships. It's bold, it's risky, but in Formula One, bold risks are often the only way to win. So here's the question. Is it finally time for Lance Stroll to step aside? Should Aston Martin face reality and put performance above family ties? Could Yuki Tsunoda, with the right environment and Honda's support, become the star that so many once believed he could be? The answers remain uncertain, but one thing is clear. The 2026 season of Formula One will be one of the most dramatic and unpredictable in history. And when the lights go out, the decisions made today will define who rises and who falls. So, what do you think? Should Aston Martin take a bold leap with Yuki Tsunoda, or stick with Lance Stroll despite the doubts? Share your thoughts below, and if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because the road to Formula One's 2026 season is just heating up. Thanks for watching,